Thank you for the great opportunity that you gave me to be part to this important project, Fred 2. We speak about anti-fraud strategy, building skills in the service of legality. First of all, I have to do a little introduction to better describe the idea of L'Aquila University. Now, the rapid integration of Italy into the European Union necessitates well-trained professionals who can effectively navigate the complexities of the European fund sector. The current academic program in Italian universities is trying to provide an holistic and specialized education tailored to the unique requirements of the field. This essay puts forth a hypothesis for an organizational academic model that could offer a special training in the fraud sector. The fraud sector is constantly evolving and changing as fraudsters adapt and innovate their methods and techniques to exploit the vulnerabilities and loopholes of the financial system. This requires the training to be updated and aligned with the latest trends and developments in the fraud sector. In this changed scenario, with the introduction of the Recovery and Resilience Facility and the implementation of the National Recovery and Resilience Plans, the role played by national authorities, and in particular Member States Anti-Fraud Coordination Service, is in ensuring an adequate level of protection of the EU financial interest has been considerably strengthened. The fraud sector is also complex and diverse, as fraud can occur in different domains and sectors, such as customs, agriculture, structural funds, research and innovation, external cooperation, etc., etc. This requires the training to cover the relevant topics and the skill for the fraud sector, such as the definition of and the typology of fraud, the legal and regulatory framework, the risk assessment and the management, the prevention and detection techniques, the investigation and audit methods, the response and recovery strategies, the ethical and social aspects in the protection of the EU financial interest. This implies to foster the interaction and collaboration among the learners and the trainers, as well as to involve and engage the relevant partners and collaborators in the design and delivery of the training.
Antonio,
now,
excuse me, I'm
sorry
to interrupt.
Little
Antonio,
short focus on Italia scenario.
the presentation, please put it
That
on
analysis of the
screen.
number of overall frauds, irregularities, and the related financial impact on the national territory in 2021 versus 2020 shows the substantial positive elements and that significantly confirm our national anti-fraud action effectiveness. In relation to the number of reported cases, the total number of frauds and irregularities decreased by 50% versus 2020. In particular, 477 versus 565 respectively. Specifically, the data for the individual areas show a significant decrease. The presentation.
Può correggermi, ci sente? Sì.
Antonio, can you hear us?
All screen.
Full screen.
Just a moment, please. Just a moment. If you say. Modalità presentazione.
Sì. Non c'è la parte. Vabbè, dai, andiamo da qua, dai.
Specifically, the data for the individual areas show a significant decrease in the number of cases related to cohesion policy and the fisheries policy frauds, equal to about 45%. The trend is more or less stable for the common agricultural policy and own resources. Another interesting figure relates to the financial impact of frauds and irregularities, which shows a significant decrease of about 37% compared to the previous year, mainly concentrated in the cohesion and fisheries policies sector. With reference to the number of cases, Italy accounted for 4.81% of the total number of irregularities reported to the European Commission, while the percentage referring to fraud reports is even lower, 3.48%. With regard to the financial impact, Italy accounted for 2.86% of the total number of irregularities reported to the European Commission, while the percentage referring to fraud reports is even smaller, 0.85%. For several years now, Italy has been implementing an anti-fraud policy that proves its determination to combat and address fraud irregularities through management and control systems set by relevant authorities to prevent, identify, and monitor irregularities, also with a view to their possible correction. Punctual analysis of the reporting and managing authorities showed that Calabria region recorded to the highest number of reports forward to Olaf. Just 2 days ago, Transparency International presented its report. From sequence, it emerges that Italy drops from 42 ND to 52 ND place in the Global Corruption Perception Index. Italy has fallen from 42 ND to 52 ND place out of 180 countries in the Global Corruption Perception Index published by Transparency International. On a scale from 0 to 100, Italy scored 54 points, 2 points lower than last year, marking the first reversal of its upward trend since 2012. A sharp step backward, commented Giuseppe Busia, president of the ANAC, National Anti-Corruption Authorities, calling it an extremely worrying signal. According to Busia, several recent decisions have contributed to Italy's decline in the ranking. These include the abolition of the abuse of office crime, the increase in the threshold for direct awards of service and supplies up to 114, and the lack of the commitment of legality reforms that international bodies have been urging for years. The Corruption Perception Index assigns scores based on the perception of public sector corruption using data from 13 external sources. Within the European Union, Italy ranks 19 out of the 27 member states. Globally, Denmark is perceived as the less corrupt country, securing the top spot with a score of 90. At the bottom of the ranking is South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, with just 8 points. Now, which are the types of fraud? Analysis of EMS data shows that the prevailing fraud irregularity item related to the so-called other irregularities, equal to 39 violation, 45% of cases, with a sharp increase versus the previous year. The financial impact of this category amounts to 7 million euro, with the Calabria 6 million euro being the most affected managing authority. The remaining more qualifying items amount to 55% of the total. Continuing with the data analysis highlighted above, secondly, we define the cases relating to the violation of public procurement rules for a total of 14%, which show a significant decrease compared to the previous year, in line with the general decrease in cases recorded during the year. It should be noted, however, that this figure could be linked to the high risk of error adhering for a particularly complex set of rules, as reported by several public administrations, primarily at the regional level. Despite the significant budgetary allocation, Italy frequently faces challenge in achieving the spending targets for ESI funds compared to other EUMS. The highly decentralized system for the implementation of OPS involving central administration as well as intermediate bodies as municipalities and provinces could be a potential factor explaining the challenges the administration face in implementing the EU budget. In the context of anti-fraud cycle, the ability to detect irregularities on the basis of careful preventive analysis is essential and contributed to ensuring the efficiency and effectiveness of the EU budget protection system. However, the routine check practice led to implementing checks in 58% of cases. This continuous practice led to implemented to the method leading to the highest number of reports of fraud irregularities. Which are the schemes of the other irregularities? The Italian Guardia di Finanza has identified some recurrent fraudulent schemes aimed at circumventing the public procurement rules and procedures. For instance, this includes false self-certification on the progress of works. Second, false statement of expenditure produced to the public administration or granting banks, also by claiming the reimbursement of non-existent underlying transactions. Third, use of the false document, usually bank checks, with the beneficiary then shows to the granting bank as a guarantee for the investment. Fourth, use of fictitious suppliers based abroad to make the risk assessment more difficult. These companies are often owned also through nominees by the same person as the beneficiary of the grant. Fifth, use of false bank statements references which are submitted by the subsidized party of the granting bank, certifying the possession of financial and property assets to obtain financing. The most frequently detected types of fraud in EU funds supporting the agricultural sector are false declarations and the legal documents to obtain property rights in agricultural areas, also by means of undue access to the National Agricultural Information System, SINN. Then certification of activities and operation relating to construction works or investment that have not taken place and or are not compliant with national legislation. Which are subjects involved in fraud? The analysis of the compliance received by the Italian Court of Auditor and the subsequent judgments showed that the fraud in EU expenditure is mainly perpetrated by individual entrepreneurs, especially in case of contribution to small-size activities, for instance in the agricultural sector, or incentives for entrepreneurship, including for young people or women. Then companies and other collective enterprises, for example, cooperatives, especially in the agricultural sector, with the participation and collaboration of the administrators of the collective body. In some cases, fraud is committed with the collaboration of public officials who direct the disbursements procedures or who should carry out the controls. Now, fraud education, existing specialist models. The Association of Certified Fraud Examiners is a professional organization of fraud examiners. Its activities include production fraud information, training, and tools. Based in Austin, Texas, it was founded in 1988. This system provides extensive educational resources and training programs related to fraud examination. They offer online courses, self-study materials, webinars, conferences, and an anti-fraud library. These resources help members stay updated on fraud detection and prevention techniques. This system offers the CFE certification, which is recognized globally as a standard for professionals' excellence in fraud examination. The certification process involves passing a comprehensive exam covering topics such as fraud prevention and deterrence investigation and legal elements of fraud. While the SCFE does not operate in specific countries, it has members and chapters around the world, including Italy. In Italy, there are several system chapters that provide networking opportunities, continuing education, and resources for professionals with an interest in fraud examination. These chapters organize events such as conferences, seminars, and workshops to educate professionals about the latest trend in fraud examination and provide a platform for sharing knowledge, and experiences. Member in Italy chapter allows to be assisted in the process of obtain the certified fraud examiner certification, but especially in maintaining it over the years through the organization of annual and continuing training course, accumulating a minimum number of 20 hours of continuing professional education credits each year. It also organized a basic introduction course to the world of anti-fraud and has established agreements with Italian university that organize master and postgraduate courses in subjects related to anti-fraud. Master and specialized courses are not reserved for experts, but on the contrary can be preparatory to the formation of the enormous wealth of legal, investigate, forensic, tax, regulatory, administrative, organizational, and IT experience with which an expert in anti-fraud must be equipped and thus facilitate the eventual passing of the exam to obtain the qualification. Which kind of model I propose? The European Anti-Fraud University Program in partnership, for example, with Guardia di Finanza. European Anti-Fraud University Program is designed to provide specialized training in fraud prevention within the European fund sector. The program aims to equip participants with the knowledge and skills to effectively combat fraud in various sectors, as agricultural societies, construction companies, small-sided enterprises, and other collective ones. Additionally, the program incorporates a focus on utilizing artificial intelligence tools to detect and prevent European financial funds. The idea is structured to bridge the gap between academia and the job market, specifically targeting professionals working in audit departments of companies and institutions. Upon completion, participants will have the opportunity to obtain the globally recognized certificate fraud examiner offered by the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. Therefore, the course should be based on a collaboration between universities, professional association, and public institutions. In particular, the Guardia di Finanza, the first police force devoted according to the law to the protection of the financial interest also of the European Union, both concerning the fight against fraud damaging own resources and in the fight against the cases of undue receiving of the expenditure of EU origin. The Guardia di Finanza is also strongly engaged on the front of preventing and countering fraud, diversion, and illicit utilization of the flows of public money. The model is inspired by the partnership that already exists between the University of L'Aquila and the Inspector School, same in L'Aquila. Here, the respective educational system merge with the interchange of qualified faculties, enabling the training of the professional figures with a solid basic legal background and the economic and management knowledge, useful for creating practical knowledge as dynamical knowledge that has immediately applicability on reality. To achieve the same goal in the area of European funds, it would be useful to involve in the training plan proposed by university, the GDF School of Economic Financial Policy, a post-academic training institute capable of guaranteeing theoretical, practical, and transversal teachings, with a strong component of interactive learning based on case studies, simulation, role plays, and data analysis. Moreover, to ensure the quality and relevance of education, it is imperative to secure a highly competent faculty with expertise in European funds. That's why this can be achieved precisely by recruiting faculty members from GDF who possess practical experience and research acumen. Incorporating practical investigator within the academic curriculum is essential for professionals to acquire hands-on experience and practical skills. Additionally, to ensure professionals remain competitive in the ever-evolving European fund sector, the proposed academic model must prioritize continuous professional development, offering access to professional resources, periodic seminars, workshops, and refresh courses could facilitate skill refinement, keeping graduates updated of new policies, best practice, and emerging trends. Some of the possible criteria or factors to take into consideration when designing this kind of university model for fraud training is also the use of e-learning and the blended learning methods. They combine online and face-to-face instruction to provide more flexibility, accessibility, and personalization for the learners and the trainers, as well as to reduce the cost and the time of the training. This model provides a one-year training course divided into 2 semesters. It will consist of 3 main modules. The first module of an introductory nature provides the conceptual, normative, and the methodological foundation to understand the phenomenon of fraud and its implications for the EU financial interest. The model covers topics such as the definition and typology of frauds, the causes and consequences of fraud, the legal framework at national, European and international level, the source of information, the data on fraud, the techniques of analysis and risk assessment, the principles and tools of fraud prevention and deterrence. The second mode is a specialized nature. Depends the specific skill for the management and control of fraud. Then the third module develops skill necessary to operate effectively with AE to prevent fraud events in the European fund sector with the various techniques and methods. The model also provides a series of complementary activities, such as an internship of 2 months at one of the institutions, agencies, and or organizations partner of the project, in particular Guardia di Finanza, to apply the knowledge and skills acquired in a real and professional context. A final thesis based on an original and innovative research that addresses a problem or a challenge related to anti-fraud sector with an multidisciplinary and comparative perspective. An active participation in events, conferences, seminars, workshops, and other initiatives organized with the framework of the EU anti-fraud program to foster the exchange of information, experience, and good practice, create networks, and improve the coordination among the various actors involved in the fight against fraud and corruption. The model aims to achieve the following results and impacts. First of all, increase the number and quality of qualified professionals in the anti-fraud sector, able to operate at the national, European and international level with the specific transversal and update skills. Then improve the capacity of the institutions, agencies, and organization partner of preventing, detecting, investigation, and combating the frauds that threaten the EU's financial interest with the greater efficiency. Then strengthen the cooperation and synergy among the principal actors involved in the fight against fraud and corruption at national, European, and international level, with greater sharing of information, real experiences of the investigation and good practices. At the end, this essay, this idea, this hypothesis, proposes an organizational academic model of specialist training for professionals in the European fund sectors within Italian university. By implementing this model in partnership with the GDF, Italian universities can better equip graduates with the relevant knowledge, practical skills, and industry connections, fostering their success in the European fund sector. Furthermore, such as a model will position Italian universities as leading institutions in providing specialized education in the field of European funds, contributing to the overall development and the competitiveness of the country within the European Union. Thank you for attention.